Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, we're going to talk about a reported backstage incident, maybe at All Out.
That's right, I've got more details on Brawl Out 2.0.
You can't call it that. We've got a changed match finish at All Out.
And exciting developments with creative in AEW. I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
All right, we're going to start off today by talking about two conflicting reports on a backstage incident at All Out that's been called a nothing burger by one and something else by
something
another.
burger.
Yeah, we're going to go over all of this stuff. So,
Got a real sense of deja vu here. Sorry, carry on.
yeah, maybe we could have a fight at All Out every 2 years.
Is it tradition? Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Biannual. Let's go. Right, so Brian Alvarez was speaking about this on Wrestling Observer Radio. If you're watching the show, there was a bit of chatter about it on socials and stuff, but there was a point during the show, I think it was about 10 p.m. Eastern, so what the heck time is that here, like 3 a.m. or something?
No, I never know.
Where a bunch of security guards just ran to the backstage area.
Uh-oh.
They just ran away from ringside. They did come back, and they resumed their positions, but I had people going, oh my goodness, what could they need a bunch of security guards for?
I think I saw someone carrying a dog.
Well, you gotta watch out for Larry. You never know when he'll strike. But Brian Alvarez spoke about this on Wrestling Observer Radio and said, so I'm not going to do his voice. He's got a great voice.
He has got an awesome voice.
So before this match started, a bunch of security dudes, he says, just started sprinting backstage. What happened was apparently there was some incident with one of the wrestlers that wasn't on the show. Larry, could be. They were shooting something backstage, and this wrestler and a production guy got into a big thing. Some people are saying it was absolutely nothing, but it was big enough that security sprinted backstage. I was told that whatever it was, apparently they talked it out, and apparently everything ended up being okay. So we'll talk about the other report, and then we'll just talk about this in general.
Yes, exactly, because Sean Ross Sapp came out with a conflicting report for Fightful Select saying there was no incident that we've heard of that leading to security running backstage during the show. They sprinted from ringside, as Andy said, to backstage shortly after 10, but returned to their spots by the end of the night. Like you say, Sean Ross Sapp describing this, because he immediately tweeted, we'll find out what on earth's going on with this backstage incident. And then he followed that tweet up by just saying, yeah, it was a nothing burger. Something and nothing at all, a work. I mean, the most important thing is it was worked out on the night and seemingly did not affect the show.
Yeah, it seems like something that maybe people got caught up in the heat of the moment and then it was just shut down and everyone got on with their jobs. Yeah. Brian Alvarez called it big enough to require the presence of security. Who knows? Like, it's a bunch of he said, she said all the time with things like this. But I do think it's important to come on and cover both sides of it and cover all the full breadth of the reports that come out on things like this. Yeah, I think during the show, a lot of people were like, why did these guys run away? I think that sparked a natural element of curiosity. But if you listen to anyone, the reports coming out about AEW's backstage environment, it sounds a lot healthier than it did a couple of years ago. Perhaps due to certain people not being in the same space anymore. I think that likely has a lot to do with it.
And presumably they've got protocols in place now for this sort of thing.
Yeah, they've got the disciplinary committee. They've got Brian Danielson ruling the roost.
I like the idea, by the way, of security. Whatever this was, they deal with it. They as Sean Ross Sapp and Brian Alvarez reported, return to their positions and go, oh God, thank God we saw that out. What did we miss? They did what to Brian Danielson? What?
Yeah, I love that. There was probably I do not want to shoot that this way. You will shoot it this way. Meanwhile, the guy's getting choked out with a plastic bag. Yeah. What? Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah. What an angle that was, by the way.
Yeah. Are we talking? Is it this video or the next one? I can't remember.
I haven't got it.
I think it's the next one. We're going to talk.
Yeah, it's really interesting
about that. But yeah, look, it's an AEW pay-per-view night. A lot of times when AEW has a successful pay-per-view, bad stuff gets amplified by blue checks who may or may not be real people.
Yes, but certainly bad faith actors.
Yes, there's that, and that's no hate on blue checks. Look, it's the only way to get engagement on Twitter these days. But like, one thing starts and then it spirals and it snowballs and people just be, getting a bit carried away.
Exactly. Like, you can just, if you don't enjoy it, you don't have to watch it.
Yeah, this is it. If you're not someone who has to cover it for a living, you could just change the channel, mate. Yeah. You could save your $50. It'd be a lot easier for you.
It's a weird sort of hate-watching thing, isn't it? But speaking of All Out, by the way, check out Ups and Downs, available right now from Simon Miller, and me and Sid are going to be reviewing it on the podcast channel later on today.
There you go. Right, do you want to talk about a bit of Bit of a changed match finish.
Yeah.
Show. Right. MJF versus Daniel Garcia. That was the opener. MJF won.
Yes.
It was kind of a roly-poly, roll-up,
Cock
cock shot combination. The ultimate double team. Daniel Garcia got a bit of revenge after the bell.
Killing him.
Yeah, kicked his ass, sent him packing. Surprising result, I think, for a lot of folk.
Yeah.
Because... why not go all in on Daniel Garcia for a change unless he's leaving? Who knows? But it's been reported that by Fightful here again that Garcia was discussed as a possible winner, but they changed it to MJF. There's no word on Garcia signing a new contract. On top of this, report from friend of the show, Ibu of Wrestle Purists, he posted originally, Garcia was going to get a clean victory.
It felt like that's the way the match was trending as well.
It did indeed. AEW is under the impression that Garcia is staying, but because the deal has still not been signed, the decision was made to have MJF go over. Even if he's leaving, I would have just put Garcia over. Number one, it made more sense in storyline, right? Get a bit of revenge, he beat him, he bloodied him up. But even if Garcia's leaving, if MJF goes away for a bit and then comes back and he ran away before I could get revenge. If he goes to the Fed, for example, that's good heel heat because it's a lie.
Yeah, I think Garcia is going to be sticking around, like you say. But it was a weird decision, especially because it's like either have MJF win and that be that, or have Garcia win. It felt like a bit of a halfway house having Garcia lose, but then get his revenge and take out MJF post match. Yeah. I'm always going to support Maxwell Jacob Friedman, understandably. But even I thought when we were talking about the predictions and preview of this show, it would be interesting, regardless of what you want to do with Daniel Garcia as well, to have MJF be on a bit of a losing streak, losing 2 straight pay-per-view matches. Really interesting to see what he does with his character. Look, I'm not going to pass too much judgment on this. It's just happened. I want to see how they follow this up on telly on Wednesday. But yeah, it seems weird, but I somewhat understand. But I agree with you. I think Garcia should have probably just gone over regardless of what's happening.
I think Garcia is somebody who throughout his AEW run has had several false starts with regards to pushes and stuff, particularly in the wake of him beating Bryan Danielson. Nothing really occurred. There's been a number of situations like that with him, and he's also had periods where he's been tethered to people like Chris Jericho for entirely too long. It's natural that when a situation like this arises and the result is a bit, the people will be like, what Garcia again? They've done it again. But hey, look, maybe he re-signs and he gets the mega push. That would be good because he's really good, and I think he deserves a concerted push.
How is he so attractive? He can make snot coming out of his nose look good.
That was a good-looking goober, wasn't it?
Beat the snot out of him.
Danielson had a bit of goober later on.
He did as well.
Boogers, not goobers. Boogers. Sorry.
Booger red.
Booger red.
Because he was bleeding too.
The Undertaker showing up on Dynamite, brother, with Kane.
But sort of following on from your story there, Andy, regarding Daniel Garcia and MJF, really interesting stuff coming out from the Observer about what happens next with regards to AEW Creative. Understandably, with what happened to Swerve and to MJF, Swerve in particular, by the way, they're going to be off TV for a little while. Makes sense. So they're going to build up a big story for both of their returns, obviously. Bryan Danielson now set up for, he's not retiring anytime soon by the looks of this, feuds with, obviously, Jon Moxley, who gave that little nod, didn't he, to Claudio. It was brilliant the way they set that up. Of like, we'll save you, then we'll kill you the way we want to kill you. And the bit of like Pac hugging Wheeler Yuta and then be like, no, watch him die.
Wheeler Yuta having a cry, it was good.
So Danielson, is going to face Jon Moxley, understandably. Darby, that has to happen at Grand Slam, of course. Claudio, Christian Cage, who teased a cash-in as part of all this on All Out, of course. Yeah. And there could be also Hangman Adam Page, Kazuchika Okada, and Will Ospreay. So don't worry if you've got tickets for AEW anytime soon. Danielson's going to be on your telly. Yeah,
he's not exactly short of potential challengers, is he? So it'll be interesting to see if they go for... If his neck is really cooked, they might just put the belt on Moxley. Or if his neck is not so cooked, they might do all those matches. I would like that.
It's a good test.
Yeah, I would like that. So we'll find out. Obviously, when Bryan Danielson in particular talks about how injured and stuff he is, you take it with a pinch of wrestling because they do be exaggerating things for dramatic effect. That's what the sport is. That's how it works. So we'll just see how it pans out, I guess. But I think story-wise, it was a very successful night for AEW, particularly at the top of the card. And all these big names have got lots to do going forward.
Yeah, Hangman Page seemingly dealing with Swerve, but like I don't think he's got any sense of like catharsis by all this.
No.
He's just like, I'm empty now, but where do you go with him next? That's really exciting. Obviously, yeah, they can revisit Danielson Okada. You sense the like Claudio match would probably be used for TV.
Yeah.
But yeah, Derby at Grand Slam. You got Wrestle Dream coming up as well. It's going to be really exciting to see how things develop with this and with MJF. And Swerve deservedly taking some time off after that. Do you know what I found the worst in that match? Right. Do you know, I think it's because, I'm talking a little bit about this on the All Out review, right? I've never taken a bump on thumbtacks, obviously. I've never taken a chair shot to the head. I've never, been hit with some of the weapons and stuff that they're using. The bit where Hangman Page's back sort of scraped off the cinder block, because we've all like skinned our legs,
falling
like
off your bike,
coming off your bike, falling over a wall or something like that. It was a bit like, it reminded me of when Kingston used that alcohol thing.
Yeah, what's it called? Yeah, I know.
On the back, because I was like, we've all been through the bit in the Panda where you're putting your hand sanitizer on and you've got a little cut in your hand. So despite the fact that they both killed each other, staple pictures to their face again, just smashed each other open with barbed wire and stuff like that. The weirdest or the worst part for me, even more so than when he got backdropped, one of them got backdropped onto the cinder block, was when he skinned his back a little bit and then he zoomed in and it's like, that's going to really hurt when he gets in the shower later.
Yeah. Nasty.
Ugh.
Nasty business.
I hated watching that match. I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed it. Yeah. But it was like watching one of those films where people are like, it's a really good film. You sort of tense throughout it. I was like, I don't like those films. I like The Mask with Jim Carrey and things like that. But we'll talk more about it later. And as Andy alluded to earlier, we've got another after news talking more stuff.
WE is a bit of WE. That's the company. That's what it's called. WE.
Yeah,
WE.
What the hell are they doing with Giovanni Vinci? We'll deal with that a little bit later on today. In the interim, check out this video right here.
Skadoosh.
Bye.
Bye.